We all know Facebook ads increase your expenses and cut into your profit, yet there are so many educators teaching photographers this so-called $1 million marketing and business strategy, which is why today I'm answering the question, do you actually need to run Facebook ads as a photographer? Hey, Boudoir photographers! Are you ready to be totally booked out with high-paying clients? I'm Tracy Lynn, and I went from side hustle photographer to running a $1 million boudoir photography business, working just 30 hours a month. That's right, just 30 hours a month. On this podcast, I tell you how I did it and how you can too. Hey there and welcome back. This episode will be slightly different from past episodes as I'm talking about Facebook ads, which I've never really used. And I'm using this episode as a long-form discussion to answer the question, do you really need to run Facebook ads in your photography business? Make sure you stay to the end because I'm not giving you the Facebook ad strategy. I'm actually giving you the anti-Facebook ad strategy. I've noticed in recent years there's so many educators promising a $1 million marketing and business strategy. And I'm not trying to say my strategy is a $1 million strategy because, to be honest, it's not. But for different reasons than you might think. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. Be patient. But let's talk about something else first. A lot of my photography coaching clients have come to me through the years because they're in a circle of high ad spend, very little profit, and spending so much time taking consult calls, with a lot of these consults not actually following through and booking a session or even showing up to their consult call. Their Facebook ad spend is very high. They're making money, but they aren't happy. In fact, they're just downright exhausted. And if we're being really honest here, which, hey, I always am, some of my friends would say that I'm honest to a fault, but Facebook ads are just not working as well in 2023 as they have in the past. I've heard that from many, many photographers and many of my coaching clients. Right now, in the marketing field, in the marketing industry, content is where it's at, but not just content on socials. What I'm talking about is content in general, like blogging and email marketing. And these are my long-term strategies that keep your schedule full of amazing clients who love what you offer and they want to work with you. Even better though, these types of clients are going to be warmed up to how you work and how you do business, and you won't have to do a thing. This type of content is how you automate your business so that you can stay booked out months and months in advance with clients who respect you and love your work. So back to the original question. Do you actually need Facebook ads as a photographer? The short answer is no, you don't, but it's going to take some work to wean yourself off of these ads if you've been using them for an extended period of time or in general to book out your schedule. So today I want to talk about the pros and cons of Facebook ads. Let's start with the positive about Facebook ads. They can bring in a lot of clients. And at this point, we all know what Facebook ads are. Basically, they're targeted ads at a specific type of person. And if you have a great ad with a great offer and know exactly who you want to target with your Facebook ads and actually target that person, you can really fill up your schedule with decent clients. Not the best clients. They're pretty good though. More on that in a few minutes. One of my current clients did a 40 over 40 portrait campaign last year, 100% booked out her schedule through Facebook ads and brought in over $80,000. This client isn't the only one of my clients who built a business that relies on Facebook ads, though. If you go back and listen to episode 2 of this podcast with Marissa, she built her business and she was totally relying on Facebook ads to book out her schedule. So much so that she paid Facebook $35,000 in 2020 and she only paid herself $20,000. We don't want to build a business where we're paying our advertising platform more than we pay ourselves, you know? Another pro to Facebook ads for photographers is that you can make a lot of money. When you're booking a lot of clients and you have a pricing guide that helps you hit your sales average goal, well, you can easily bring in 6 figures or more with your photography business. So here's my recommendation. If you're running Facebook ads, ensure that your pricing is on point. Otherwise, you're definitely going to go in the hole. So I want to talk about a few numbers that I really want you to remember. As a photographer, you should bring home at least 35% of your total revenue. Your cost of sales should be around 25%. That leaves 40% for overhead, depreciation, advertising, and education. Your advertising budget should be no more than 4 to 5% of your total budget. That means if your total revenue is $100,000, your total advertising budget is around $4,000 to $5,000. Now, that's not your paid ads budget. That's everything that you spend on advertising, website costs, vendor fares, anything that you print. So to recap, our pros for photography, Facebook ads, they book a lot of clients and they make a lot of money, but you have to make sure that your costs are correct, you're targeting the right audience, all those things. So right now I want to switch over and talk about the actual cons of a Facebook ad. We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to talk more about it. And first of all, you're going to end up having a very high advertising budget. I just talked about this a little bit, but it's very, very important. And I think at this point, we all know how important I think budgeting is if you want to have a healthy business. So let's just dive into it even more. At the beginning of the year, you need to set your business budget. That includes your advertising budget. If you're going over your 4 to 5% budget, that means your profit margin will not be in a healthy zone. That also means there's a possibility that you, 1, burn out, or 2, go out of business because you're giving all of your money to Facebook. You're not getting to keep it. My personal advertising budget for my 6-figure boudoir photography business, less than 1%. I've cut all of my expenses so much that I typically take home 65% or more of my total revenue each month. That means to make the amount of money that I need to make, I don't have to work as hard because my profit margin is higher. That means I get to avoid burnout and I get to keep my money in my pocket. I really want you to think about that fact because a lot of you guys, I do think that you're spending too much money on things, not getting to keep your money. And that means you are going to end up burning out because you're not getting paid what you should be paid as a photographer. So let's say that you have a $10,000 advertising budget, normal photography expenses. You might get to take home 25 to 30% of your total revenue while I'm taking home 65%. So I'm getting to make less money, but keep more money in my pocket, whereas you're bringing in way more money than me, possibly, yet you're giving it all away. You're not getting to keep it in your pocket. And so you're making less money than I am when you're bringing in more money. That's a big difference, you know? You could be working so much less, spending more time with your family, spending more time traveling or doing whatever you want, less time working, and you get to actually enjoy your work when you work. So it's a big difference. I just want you to think about that. The second con that I want to discuss is the fact that Facebook ads are typically bringing in unqualified clients. I'm a big believer that Facebook in general brings in unqualified clients. They seem to be price shoppers or just cheaper clients in general. And they're especially like this if you don't send them through an organic funnel. And what I mean by an organic funnel is pushing them to a high converting website that tells them what they need to know about your photography business and your processes and pricing in the right way, in a way that will convert them into a great client that will spend a lot of money. If they don't know the right things at the right time, they're typically cheaper clients who aren't going to be that much fun to photograph. The third con I want to talk about is that Facebook ads require a lot of consult calls, at least if you're doing it the way that photography educators are recommending. From what I've seen, most educators are teaching this specific funnel: Facebook ads to a landing page that gives them some information and then asks them to book a consult call. One good thing about this is that you can tell the client what you need them to know, a lot like the organic funnel that I mentioned just a minute ago. So when they do come into your studio, well, they will be a lot more qualified. So that is a good thing. But that also means that you're repeating the same thing over and over and over and over again. And if you're like me, I get really tired of that really quickly. You're also waiting by the phone or calling these leads, and only about 10 to 20% actually show up for the call because they booked this call through a Facebook ad. They were excited when they booked, but then the excitement wore off. I mean, how many times have you went through part of a Facebook ad, had something in your cart? Once you got to the commitment to actually pay for it, you're like, oh, never mind. I didn't actually want this or want to do this thing. It's the same thing with these leads. They were never fully committed to booking a session with you. So that's why they don't show up, or that's why they don't follow through with booking the session. One more thing, these calls can be so exhausting. I'm an introvert, and even though these calls aren't in person and usually they aren't even on video, it still takes a lot out of me to get on a call and talk for 10 to 30 minutes or more with someone that I don't know or have never met. The last con I want to talk about is that Facebook ads don't seem to be working very well right now, at least for photographers, unless you spend a lot of money. I talk to a lot of photographers every day, and they're all saying that exact same thing. The ad spend is high, and they aren't seeing as big of an ROI as they were even last year, and especially not like they were in 2020 and 2021. This is happening for a lot of reasons, but to me, the reasons don't really matter. What I think this means is that it's time to work on your organic funnel. It's time to work on a way to book clients without paying for advertising. And it's 100% possible. I know, because I've been booking out my schedule for the past 6 years without paying for any ads whatsoever. The only advertising I've paid for since 2017, bridal fairs. Which, by the way, to find out how I booked 17 sessions at one show, be sure to listen to episode 9, where I tell you all of my secrets. Anyway, what I'm saying right now is it's time to focus on number 1, building your high converting website so your leads know what they need to know in the order that they need to know them. And by the way, if it would help you understand buyer psychology and stages, I'd be happy to do an episode talking about this. Just make sure that you DM me on Instagram and let me know, and I will put that together. And then the second thing that you need to focus on is driving traffic to that high converting website so that you can get the amount of leads that you need to get in order to actually book sessions. One important fact before we move on: if you want to book 10 sessions per month, that means you need to have 1,000 leads going to your website in order to actually book those sessions. That means we need to be driving so much traffic to your website. You need to be in front of your client everywhere. And that's exactly why we need to create this funnel so that you can focus on getting in front of your ideal client in as many places as possible. All right, can you see how the cons of running Facebook ads really outweigh the pros of running Facebook ads? And I just told you about a way that will make your life so much easier, your bank account so much happier in the long run. And that's my organic marketing funnel. So right now, if you're not taking the time to actually focus on your organic marketing strategy, then you're going to be forever using Facebook ads. You're never going to be able to wean yourself off of them. And you'll be in a constant cycle of continuously giving your money to Meta and Mark Zuckerberg. And I don't want to do that. And I know you don't want to too, because I work hard for my money. I know you do. And I think we'd all like to keep it in our own pockets, right? So if you get just one thing from this episode, I want you to know that now is the time to be working on your organic strategy. Even if you're running Facebook ads, right now is when you need to be creating your marketing strategy so that eventually you don't have to run these ads, so that eventually you can have a fully booked schedule without ever lifting a finger to make it happen. I promise it's possible. I've been doing it for years at this point. Now, if you want more information, I want to invite you to check out my free guide, 5 tips to book photography clients without using Facebook ads, where I walk you through exactly how to wean yourself off of Facebook ads if you're currently using them, or how to create a strategy that never requires Facebook ads to begin with. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sustainable Freedom with Boudoir Photography. Please be sure to rate and follow so that you never miss an episode. They drop every Thursday, and they're always full of super actionable information for you to apply right now in your boudoir business. Until then, make your next shoot your best shoot.